3 coplanar points, and bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
On the level.
The way I phrase it is a monument to the curvature of the Earth. It really
totally
is.
agree.
It really is.
Level.
And bam, there's the radius of the Earth.
They have. Shows it.
Shows it.
The curving ocean horizon.
Oh, well, why did they write in a dictionary and make a horizontal that is perpendicular to vertical, and then say that's parallel to the horizon if they don't think the horizon's a straight line? It's a bit hard to have something that's a parallel to a straight line that isn't a straight line, isn't it? That's really weird.
They didn't have nanometer detection back then when they chose the word horizon, though.
It's not that. It's the fact
They chose
that
the word horizon. Horizontal came from horizon, or do you think horizontal came first?
Right, because they thought the horizon was horizontal.
same reason why they call spider monkeys, and camel spiders. It's not because they think that somebody's going to tear the word apart and say that it's not a camel, it's just a spider. It's just the name they've given it. It's a very appropriate, except if someone's being a stickler for the language. Yeah.
And if you were going to go to one of the yes, Bev. So it does say in the dictionary that level is a horizontal thing, but it also says having no part higher than another, conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of Earth's surface.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
So you are technically right when you say level is horizontal, but it also means that, there's another definition that goes along with it.
Yeah, but we weren't talking about the level. We were talking about the horizon being parallel.
We're talking about the shape of the Earth.
No. We were talking about density.
Yeah, we're talking about the shape of the Earth, which is curved.
No, we were talking about a density gradient in a fish tank. Weren't we?
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair enough.
Right.
But, there is a definition that says, it confirms the curvature of the liquid parts of Earth's surface.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. And if that curvature's 0, then it would conform to that, wouldn't it?
But it is curved.
A horizontal. This is what we were saying,
mate.
dude.
It's an oblate spheroid,
A
mate.
horizontal.
3959.
A horizontal isn't curved, is it? That's a straight line.
If you want to get technical with that, then I will give you that. But Earth is an oblate spheroid. Okay.
Will you give us the fact that a horizontal is parallel to the plane of the horizon as well? Or are you going to be like Kosho and say that's not quite?
Where I am on Australia would be a different. It's a tangent. It's not.
Are your horizontal? I've never
if
been
you were
to
to look at where I live in Australia, I'm basically poking out at a different angle to you in England. There,
I've never been to Australia, so can I just get you to check now?
Maybe you should try coming to Australia and checking out how the sun moves here, and then tell me if it's still flat.
Are your horizontals in Australia parallel to the horizon?
My shelves are parallel to the floor. Yes, they are level to the floor.
No, I asked
but the sun
horizontals.
The sun, Bev,
parallel to the
sun
horizon
doesn't move
in
the
Australia.
way it should if Earth were flat here. It's impossible.
You said it best though, Cypher, a second ago when you said it's more like a tangent line, because it is more like a tangent line that's above the surface, on the surface, but the horizontals are basically
Kosho. A tangent has to touch the surface of a sphere or a circle.
That's why he said.
So you can't have above.
Yeah, that's why he said
tangent doesn't work.
Line. That's why I said like a tangent line, except for the fact that it's above the surface.
You mean it's just a straight line then? Yeah.
Well, Bev, check out the photo I've
straight
just posted.
line.
I took that photo.
That straight line horizontal. Would that be?
Look at the photo I've just posted in the chat.
Yeah.
Have a look at that photo and tell me what the problem is with where that sun is, please. That's the sun. I took that photo last Thursday.
It's in the sky.
It is in the sky.
Right.
Can you see the direction of where it says southwest?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, it's setting to the southwest. It sets to the left of me when I'm looking at it.
Okay. Brilliant.
If I'm looking west, it's setting to the left of me. Now, it shouldn't be doing that. If Earth were in fact flat and it, the sun and moon move around the flat Earth equidistant from each
We
other.
were I've not suggested anywhere in this conversation that the Earth is flat. We were talking about basic density gradient in a fish tank.
Okay.
And we were just trying to establish
Earth being flat. Well, now we're talking about Earth being flat, aren't we?
The reference frames that we were talking about, right?
Horizontal, bro.
Yeah, horizontal. Is that in Australia? Because I've never been to Australia. Are your horizontals parallel with the plane of the horizon in Australia?
With the floor? Sure.
No, the horizon. You don't think the horizon is the floor, do you?
No, but I am on someone's horizon. You're on someone's horizon. If I see a house 5 kilometers away from me and that house is dipping below the horizon... I'm in my house
on a sofa. That is definitely not anybody's horizon.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
You're on someone's horizon. If I were to go out to sea from where I live... Bev, stop. If I were to go out to sea from where I live, my house is then going to be on the horizon when I'm out at sea. It's going to dip below the horizon as I go further away from it too. Now, why is that?
No.
Why do things dip below the horizon?
Would horizontals be parallel to it?
It's going to rise up out of the ground, isn't it? And I'll be back in my house. You're always on someone's horizon, no matter where you are.
Right. Is it parallel to the plane of the horizon? Horizontal.
Horizontal horizon.
Parallel? How do you mean? To the house?
No. Listen again. I'll really simply, right? Is the horizontals that you have in Australia, are they parallel to the horizon that you have in Australia?
They're parallel to everyone's horizon, Bev, no matter where you are.
Not the top of the dome.
Thank you.
I was doing some quick numbers with the thing we were talking about with the fish tank. Mm-hmm. And if the fish tank was 2 feet wide, then the amount of curvature you would expect, and say like the Sagitta, for instance. Wait.
No, you say you'd expect. What? You're assuming some sort of curvature that I'd expect, not me. No.
Don't ask me ridiculous sea lion questions, okay?
No, Kosho, you said you'd expect. I don't expect any curve at all.
Everybody else in the room,
zero.
Not doing what you're doing. So please stop doing that. But yeah. So a fish tank that's 2 feet wide, 2 feet from left to right. Mm-hmm. The amount of curvature that you'd expect, and on the way in which we understand the Earth to be, with some density column in there, the Sagitta and those lines would be about 8 nanometers,
right?
Which is smaller than any perceivable light.
Would that be at the center, Kosho? Would you imagine that at being in the center?
On the straight line.
At the center.
That fish tank, yeah, that's what the Sagitta is.
Right, so not like a drop from one end, depending on which side you're at. It's definitely in the center.
The drop from one end to the next would be.
I got a better idea for you.
It would depend on which side of the fish tank you're stood at, right?
No, for his building thing.
The chord and the arc length, the distance between them at the center is 8 nanometers.
At the center. Okay, so you definitely the hump, Kosho. Kosho goes for Bislin hump.
Would be
well, I got something to help us.
Would not be perceivable.
Right, so if you could scale that up bigger, what sort of scale would you have in order for you to be able to measure it? You imagine when you lot that imagine curvature, when you imagine that curvature, how big would you have to make the scale of that thing for you to be able to measure that imagined curvature, Kosho? Come on.
You'd simply want a Sagitta that would be a value that you could at least perceive.
Yeah.
No, Kosho, I got
imagine. It's immeasurable.
We've been given some numbers. Oh, it's Becky. Hey, Becky. I'll show you that proof at some point. But I mean, here you go. Look at these numbers here in the chat. Yeah, as soon as you joined, I'll come over and show you that proof. See these numbers here, Kosho. Which one of those numbers do you imagine you could measure?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah, millimeters. Yeah, you have a ruler. You can measure any of those.
Fantastic.
I got you,
That
Kosho.
you know that they are your imagined curvatures, right?
I mean, they look like fairly, numbers that are all on a ruler. Yeah.
Yeah.
All those numbers.
You read
are
it
on
at the
a-
top. Read it at the top. It's 16 individual 100 meters, unsighted, no dark sharks involved in this. Water level, calculated mind measurement drop of each individual level from the start position. It's sort of like Sly Sparkane's bending water level experiment.
But you didn't know who Sly was.
I said sort of like. I mean, these are the numbers that we've been given by
Yeah, and I said I thought you didn't know who Sly was from what you were saying last night.
He's a nameless, faceless internet potato that has
Right,
a
but
bending water level experiment.
That's fine. So I put in a number for 1 millimeter, and for you to perceive, or for you to expect there to be a 1 millimeter sagitta in the center, it would need to be 225 meters. So what number did I say before? I said 24. No, so actually before. Hold on. I said
220.
no, that was right. That was right. It was 24 inches before.
Right, say that
On the
again.
top of the roof.
You say that again, Kosho. At 225 meters, 1 millimeter.
No, and it would need to be 8,800 inches. So yeah, 225 meters.
What, Kosho? Please don't get your imperial measurements mixed up with metric. Are we working in inches or meters? Right, please.
I just gave you both. That should be sufficient.
Okay, well, can you see that thing there with all of the numbers? And I know people are probably better at numbers than you are off the top of your head, but they've wrote them down for us. We don't need to bother doing it. You know, people have given you the numbers now.
People have also measured the curvature of Earth many times
These
over.
are, well, I mean, it's been claimed to be measured.
Many times over. No, they have done it.
Nah, I don't think
Many
they have.
times over.
They've run
Yeah, they
whenever
have.
they've been asked
Yeah, they
to
have.
provide
They
evidence
have.
of it.
Point.
Your denial of it doesn't make the fact that they've done it any less true.
Well,
There's no fish tanks that are 8,800 inches across.
right,
No
but
fish
no,
tanks.
these are like 100 meter water levels, and you line them all up next to each other, one, and then the next
now
one,
go
and
out
then the
to
next
10
one, and then the
kilometers
next
and see
one.
how you go.
Pardon?
And how do you then measure the millimeters difference in the sagitta?
How do you measure?
How would you measure the sagitta in those water?
Wow.
In the 100 meter sagitta. By the
Listen,
way,
I've tried to explain this many times to you, right? I'll explain it to Becky. Don't worry.
Listen, Bev, show me your chalk line of your fucking water towers down a row. Show me your fucking chalk line.
Yeah,
What's up?
It's pretty obvious, Becky. Right? We're not going to be able
How
to
do
do it.
you-
We can't do it here. This is why we have
Answer his
to
question,
come over
man.
to the
I'm
other
thirsty,
place.
motherfucker. Answer Kosho's question, please.
We'll
Please,
let
please,
him
please,
finish his point. Can we? Before we all break out in outrageous, attacks.
My baby, I gotta go. But I'm saying, please don't skip this one question, Bev. Please.
Go on, Kosho. Come on. Give us your question. I'm sure it's going to be a brilliant one. What was it again?
I said, how do you expect to measure? For instance, I don't know what numbers those represent. You said drop. I gave you the sagitta, so I'll give you the sagitta again.
Yeah.
For the same-
you know
for
how
that
your model works,
for that
don't you?
same for that same distance as I told you.
Yeah.
225 meters.
Yep.
The hump in the middle.
Yep.
From the chord, the distance between the chord and the arc is 1 millimeter. So if you're 225 meters from the end,
Chord and
water
the
levels,
arc. What are you talking about? The chord and the arc. 1 millimeter.
I was assuming I was talking to a learned man who knows what a chord and an arc are.
Yeah, well, that's not what we're doing here. That's what Brandon was doing the other day. That's what Rumpus and all of them lot had Brandon doing. Yeah, absolutely fucking ridiculous. Don't even try it.
This is what
We're talking about the sagitta. Why did you change from the chord
that is what we're
to the
talking
sagitta?
about. Because the sagitta
part of the
is the
same
distance
thing,
from the
Bev.
chord to the arc. That's what the sagitta is.
Yes, okay, right. Them
So-
numbers,
Three-dimensional
I'll
space
put
you
them
live in,
again.
Bev.
I'll put them in
We
again.
all live in a
In fact, I'll do
3D
them there.
space.
There, right. Those numbers for the baller local curve calculations. Can you
Right.
see those numbers, Kosho?
Yeah, so I'll ask the question again, though, now that you know that we're talking about the exact same thing that we've been talking about.
Yep.
How would you perceive, after 225 meters, from one water level to the next, how would you perceive this millimeter in the center?
Kosho, like once again, can you see the numbers?
I do.
Right. Now, they are 16 individual, 100 meters unsighted. Now, can you see the number 2 on that page?
No.
Right, that's 200 meters.
I don't see it.
Oh. Baller,
I see
local,
6, 9,
curve,
2,
calculations. Can you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? They're at the top. They're the ones that Ruhif gave us. They were his starter numbers. He got one of them wrong, but never mind.
There's some yellow print.
Yeah, that's it. That stuff.
I can't read it.
The one we know, it says 3.1 millimeters. Now, you said 225 Sagitta, 1 millimeter. So
right, yeah.
maybe DP might need to fit in. There is a little bit of a space in there, DP. Kosho says that for 225 millimeters, do you want to check them numbers? Kosho.
Their numbers? No, I can't read
that. No, do you want to check your number that you've give us? 1 millimeter for 225 meters.
I'm fairly confident about it.
Check with your model. Do you want just check? I don't want to,
There's no need. I'm fairly confident. Yeah.
So you're going with that then, right? 1 millimeter, Sagitta. Okay.
I've almost already said it 3 times now.
Brilliant. Are you getting that, DP? I hope you are. 225 millimeters, Sagitta of 1 millimeter. Ruhif had that down as 100 meters. But anyway, forget about that. The numbers on the page, I've even had maths people come and tell me how this works. The drop is the same as the hump over half the distance. Because obviously the water can't drop away. Like, there's no way the water level drops from horizontal, is there?
Sure it can. Gravity helps hold it to the planet.
Right, so you're holding a water
Gravity
level.
does hold it to the planet.
You're holding a water level 100 meters long, right? Well, you see, you can only hold one end of it. Let's say you just put it on 2 posts, right? You stabilize them. You fill it up with water. Now, that water that in that tube will reach an even altitude, won't it? It will equal out to be even.
But
yeah?
I do think that.
Kosho, please, Kosho, please don't interrupt. We've got to get this sorted first. Just so we, but somebody else asked the question. You're now interrupting them, aren't you?
That's the question.
So the water level, right? We're just establishing it can't drop at either end because it makes an even altitude. You will agree with that, right?
Right.
Yep.
The question I was just answering, which is, I don't agree with that.
You don't.
I think that. I think if we talk about the elevation of each of them, you'd be saying that, in their local positions.
They'd have to be touching the floor to be elevation. It's an altitude. It's above the floor.
If you compared the 2 ends in the middle, and you made a straight line from one end to the next end, and you looked at the middle
two
one,
ends in the middle.
The middle water level would be higher than
really
that chord
confused.
No, Kosho, they're not.
they would be.
Right. Oh no. Well,
After 225 meters, it'd be 1 millimeter higher.
I'll leave you two to do this. I mean, Becky, anytime you're ready, if you've got a bit of spare time, I'll take you through.
No worries. Thanks, Bev.
Do you have an opinion, Becky? Like, when you fill a tube of water up and it's even, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So there's no
level
drop.
So I just want to say level is horizontal and vertical is plumb.
Thank you. It sounds like you've got a good grasp of reality.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be easy to take you through this. I mean, you should get this, no problem. Right, guys, so considering it's even, then you can't measure a drop at the other end because, I mean, that's obviously not there. Well, despite what some people decide to think. I mean, Jesse Kozlowski said it drops from the horizontal, but I mean, it's ridiculous. That's probably why he's gone missing. because he can't substantiate the claims he's made. He said, oh, yes, it's measurable too. Well, absolutely stupid. Right, so anyway, Kosho, so these numbers are drop numbers, which obviously can't be true. But the sagitta is what would be measurable, the hump. That's why you have such a confusion between drop and hump. It's like a model paradox that you have.
It's describing the sagitta.
Okay, right. Well, the sagitta is the half distance, isn't it?
Right.
Of
where that
this.
Distance, where that distance from the chord to the half distance of the arc. That's right. It's that exact distance.
Okay, so at let's say 400 meters. If we had a 400 meter tube, yeah. According to that, there should be a 12.6 millimeter drop at 400 meters. But that's obviously not there, is it? Can't be. So what we have to do is we have to take the midpoint, which is wrote down here as a drop, but because we're leveling that total distance off, the half distance would be the sagitta. It's a quarter distance function because it's a quadratic equation that you have for your mind maths. Right? For when you perceive a curvature, it's a straight line, but you do some mathematical calculation, and that is equivalent to the 8 inches per mile squared, right? That calculation that you've been given. Well, the half distance of a 400 meter water level would be 200 meters, and that says 3.1. But you said 1 mil? Why is that?
Oh, that's because you're describing the drop, as you said, which is not the same thing as a sagitta.
No, like I said, a half distance, it's a quarter function of your total perceived ridiculous drop that isn't there. So you have to take the hump, because that's measurable, right? You would agree that you can definitely measure that sagitta, right? If it was there, of course.
I didn't say you could definitely measure it. I'm saying that you would have to have tools precise enough to measure it.
That's what I was saying. Like, what do you measure distances of around 1 or 2, 3 millimeters? What would you measure that with?
Well, you're talking about something that would be in the center.
Right,
the comparison.
I'll try this one again with Becky, because Becky definitely lives in reality.
I'm trying to answer the question, Bev.
Okay, go on.
Why you not do that? If you're trying to compare the chord line to an arc line, you would have to first define those lines, which means you would have to have a straight line from one water level to the other to be able to measure that millimeter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's where the limitation is.
Okay. So Becky, if you wanted to measure something, let's say 3, 4, 5, maybe up to 20 millimeters, what would you use?
I would use a ruler.
Brilliant. You are way above these guys, aren't you? You know, this living in reality gives you a foot above Kosho and people like that. It seems, right, Kosho?
Oof. Dear me, Kosho.
She can measure distances with a ruler.
He's making a good argument. Just kidding.
Becky, think about what he just asked. He asked you how you would measure something.
Yeah.
Now, Bev, now tell her what you're going to be measuring, Bev, and how you're going to have these two lines in front of you to be able to put a ruler up to it.
Just a pencil mark.
Because you're measuring the distance between a chord and an arc.
Yeah.
And the middle of these two water levels. So you'd have to define that arc. You have to define that chord to make that measurement. That's the difficult part. Measuring 20 millimeters is not difficult.
It's a piece of piss, Kosho. Absolutely simple, yeah, but I don't think you'll get it. I really don't.
Define how you make that straight line then.
Pardon?
Have you heard of vernier calipers?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the vernier scale is?
Brilliant.
Yeah, I would use the vernier scale because I can see shit down to 0.01 millimeters. That's a thousandth of a mil. I can see that with my own eye.
Wow,
yeah,
so
I know when something is a thousandth of a mil out, yeah?
Brilliant.
That's because I'm an engineer.
You could do it over 100 meters then? Well done. Wow, you imagine how cheap it would be for you to be able to do it.
Micrometer, depth gauge, vernier, depth gauge. You can do it with all sorts, and they're measured down to 0.01 thousandth of a millimeter.
Ooh.
In fact, they measure down to 0.000. But yeah, they'll give you a 0.01 thousandth of a mil. That's a tenth of a millimeter, mate. Okay. That's even smaller than half a mil.
Brilliant. I'm glad you can measure to that sort of levels. That makes it even cheaper, you know, if you can get somebody like you involved in it.
Well, vernier calipers are only like £5 on eBay. You can buy them like with a dial on them, or you can buy the electronic ones, and they'll give you the reading electronically or on a dial. I would get the electronic ones though, because the dial ones are a bit hard to read. The one with the vernier scale, because vernier scales are just slightly out. You see, they're a bit weird. You know what I mean? You have one set of lines, and then the other set of lines don't match up with it. They're slightly out, if you get me. Okay. That's the nature of a vernier scale. And there are millions of different types of vernier scales.
If you come over, I'll be able to show you how you can actually measure to such levels, right? Yeah. Becky's right, though, with her ruler. I mean, that's the way I'd use a ruler. It's much more... visual, much more rulers. Everyday person sort of thing, right?
Yeah, I have metal engineers rules. I have a 12-inch metal engineers rule and a 6-inch one, and they both have.
I've got them too.
Millimeters on them, and they both have like conversion skills on the back, which are pretty handy, you know. So if you've got something that's half a mil, or say a quarter of an inch, then it'll give you the skill to work it out on the back to millimeters. It's quite useful, you know.
Yeah, I've got loads of different rulers as well. I've got a 5-meter ruler.
Yeah. They're all right. If you want a tape measure, mate, you want a 25-foot tape measure. That'll measure anything.
I mean, staff, like actual hard ruler.
Oh, a staff one. Yeah. Like the old yardstick. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Like, so, would you be interested in trying to measure? Would you go for the drop or the hump if you were measuring?
Thing is that Rob often measured the drop on the canal back in the day, but he had the telescope too low to the boat, and somebody went back a couple of 100 years later and redid it and raised the telescope about 3 or 4 fucking meters in the air on a big tripod, right? Then he did it and he took the readings and he found out, you know, that it did have curvature after all. I wonder why. Because he measured it too low, so he got all his measurements wrong. You know, never mind.
Okay, so you were there for that one. 3 or 4 meters high on a telescope.
Yeah, well, you know, you've got to read history and read into history and see who did it. I mean,
I've never heard that before.
Fucking
you sure? Was that Robotham or somebody else that did that one?
Probably fucking Claire Summit. Mrs. Claire Summit. She was like a big reviver of the flat Earth. Not so long back, actually.
Rumpus. Is that similar to Rumpus's then? But Rumpus is using a 20-odd foot stick at the other end.
Well, you can use a 20-foot stick,
dark shark, 180 dark shark at one end and then looking the other way. I don't know. I think he said he might be doing reciprocal.
Yeah. But, I mean, they didn't have theodolites back in the day, you know what I mean?
What do you mean back in the day?
It's quite a recent invention is the bloody theodolite. You know, we've only just invented that bugger. What do you mean? I mean, the best they could do was a telescope.
Oh, right. So no horizontal measurement or anything?
No fantastic fucking super accurate measurements, mate. It was probably some poor cunt freezing his tits off.
Can't rely on that then, can we?
Stood in the middle of the canal with a fucking stick in his hand. He was probably freezing his tits off doing it, but you know, he'd have been sat nice and dry in a fucking boat. You know what I mean? The clever cunt.
You're a good representative of this server, right?
It was definitely existed back then, and he wasn't trying to make a precise measurement. Anyhow, he was trying to just make sure that the 3 sticks, one would be higher when you reference it to, just like we said, the 2 ends will have the one in the center is going to have a sagitta that is, you know, greater than 0, meaning that it's curved.
Yeah, and the next one will be reading a slight drop in the fucking curvature, yeah, and then the one be after that will show you the fucking sag, and then the other one will show you the fucking drop. It just carries on like that, yeah. Depending how much distance there is between you and the next line, you know.
This is
Yeah,
why
you must
I
be-
have to ask and get confirmation of people, because so many people say so many different things. The only thing I can go with is what I can prove for myself.
There you go. Then what are you asking everybody else for?
I'm just asking everybody else's opinion, right, of what they
Oh,
think.
right, seeing if they've got a different angle on it, a different fucking idea that
you
might
can always
reinforce
learn
yours a little
different.
bit.
Yeah, we can still learn different ways off each other, can't we?
Well, we can, yeah, but there is only one way of fucking doing it, you know.
Measuring,
yeah.
Yeah.
Measure twice, cut once, as you do.
Well,
that's what they did, didn't they?
That's
The flat
fucking.
earthers.
That's what you've got to remember. Measure twice, cut once. If you remember that all your life, you'll never cut anything wrong.
What happens if you cut it and it's too small? So
You
cut
can
it
add
again.
a little bit on.
Measure it properly.
Cut
there.
it again, and then it fits, right? That's what you do.
No,
And
if
you've
it's-
wasted
if you
material.
cut it off and it's too big.
Cut it and it's
Then-
too small, and then
No,
you
you
cut it
can't.
again, and then it fits.
You cut it twice.
How? If you cut,
Yeah, and
I don't get that.
Material doing it wrong.
Putting more off. The
whole
thing
point.
is, you can add back to wood. That's pretty easy fucking material to add back to, but steel's another fucking thing. You know what I mean? When you've cut a bit of steel off, yeah, you've literally fucked it. You know what I mean? It's hard to weld a bit of steel back on, but wood, you can scarf it. You can fucking cut that a bit off. You can stick a new bit.
You do it with all sorts. Just cut
Easy material to work with.
cut it off, and then find out that it's too small. So you cut a bit more off, and then it fits. It happens all the time.
Fucking idiot. No, it don't work all the time. You're a nugget.
Chicken nugget.
If you think that's works, mate, everything that you build is going to be like 2 inches too fucking short. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I bet
right.
you don't even add on the bit. I bet you don't even add on the or take off the bit that you're adding on, do you?
Yeah, I'm a joiner.
And you don't take off the bit that you're adding on.
You don't take off the bit that you're adding on. What do you mean? I mean,
you
what I
take off
said
the
was,
bit you're
when you cut something and it's too small, and then you cut a bit more off and it fits.
How can it be too small? You fucking nugget.
Oh.
It's got to be too big, hasn't it? If you're cutting a bit off and it doesn't fit, it's too big, you nugget. Not too small. So you cut a bit more off and it fits, yeah, because it's the right size then.
Yeah, once you've cut a bit more off.
It's going to make it too small, you nugget.
It was too small in the beginning, the bit that you cut off.
See a fucking doctor. I already know what you're on about.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cutting holes?
Mate, the biggie.
Cutting holes for a pipe?
Yeah,
Oh,
the more
shit,
you
I've
take
cut it
the-
off and it's too small. I best cut a bit more off. Hey, the pipe fits. Ba-boom!
So you're talking about holes. All right. So the more you take away from it, the bigger it gets. How
Wow.
fucking clever of you.
Yeah. You just got to think of it from a different angle, I guess. We can all learn
Yes,
from each other, can't we?
Yeah, you're a fucking wind-up
So
merchant.
when you're measuring, when you were measuring, can you see the numbers? I'll post it again because, well,
I can't see any numbers now. You're fucking knackered at it. Now I've got fucking big holes and little holes. Fucking go away, you annoying fucker. I'm making my joint. Go away.
you will definitely be using that one though, won't you?
Well, yeah. Well, let's all use an hole to measure with, you know.
Not really a sea liner, no, but you know, we talked about the chord and the.
You did.
Yeah, and well, no, you did as well. You just didn't know what the terms meant for some reason. But because we say the curve.
Talking about a water level. I mean, it's not a chord. I mean, how could it be a chord?
Well,
Or
the two ends, the line created by the two ends would be the chord between them.
what?
Yeah, and the shape made by all of them. If you took each of the position of the tops of them and drew a line, it would make an arc. So that's how you would compare the two. I
Right.
made a
So
picture
that
for this
so
if you're
that
about
is
that.
where you would measure. You're saying, in the center.
That would be one way. That would be the way that the Bedford level test was
Brilliant.
done.
And Tao says he can measure something down to nanometers. Was it Tao? I mean, like 0.000.
Thousandths of a millimeter.
Right. Can
was-
have a
it
calculation? Have a calculation, Kosho, of the sagittar in a 100 meter.
Tal, could you make that from 100 meters away?
It's a sagittal in the middle.
Make it.
Could you measure that? Could you measure that distance, the millimeter or sub-millimeter, whatever
With
number?
the theodolite, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it with vernier calipers, but I could measure
Becky
it
says
like
she can
if I had
measure
a big
with a
enough
ruler.
vernier caliper, I guess.
Why do you need a theodolite?
Theodolite, because they're just easier.
I thought you had calipers and some extra fancy measuring things. Becky's got a ruler. I'll go with a ruler.
You can't use a ruler.
Well, actually, you don't really need the numbers. You'd just be able to look at a pencil mark, I think.
Yeah, but you can't do that from 100 meters away. So
no, you can't mark a pencil on the mark at the end of the water level from 100 meters away either.
That's why you'd have to make a defined line what the chord is.
But a water level is it's a practical tool, Kosho, right? You go to the end where it is that you're using and use it that way, right? You don't sight it from 100 meters away.
The fucking water level. Using a water level to fucking measure a water level. What the fucking hell are you doing?
Yeah.
You go to the end and you have to reference the other end to make the chord.
You just
why don't you just use
you can put a pencil mark, can't you?
Stick a clear pipe in it.
You wouldn't be able to do that from the center.
Stick a clear pipe in it to the at one end, yeah.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, sorry.
Into it at the other, and measure the fucking height on the clear pipe. There you go. You've already built the water level. The water level's there. You're just using clear pipe. Put it down to the fucking bottom of the fucking water, yeah. And mark up the fucking clear pipe where the water's come to. Then go to the other end and do that. You only need 2 equal fucking lengths of clear pipe to do it. There you go. Use your brain.
Rupert, no, they're concentric circles. They share a similar centre.
2 equal lengths of clear pipe. Stick one in the water to the bottom of the bed of the level. Yeah? Go to the other end of the fucking level. Stick the clear pipe in that down to the riverbed, yeah? And then make a mark on each one with a pen. Then measure the length of the fucking pipe and there's your drop.
Off you go. On a river, because it's flowing.
You can do it on a river and use clear pipe because the water will come up the clear pipe and be in the clear pipe and you'll be able to mark it off with a pen.
It's a river. It obviously drops. It's water flowing downhill.
It flows at the same fucking height, doesn't it?
It's down. It's in a lower elevation. The water is flowing from a higher elevation to a lower elevation. Of course, there's a drop.
Waterfall. How are you going to use a waterfall? Come on.
No, they're not using waterfall. But
this obfuscation is terrible, Tao.
He's fine. Tao's just fine. But yeah. So what we were discussing. So the limitation that you haven't really overcome yet, but you're saying you can somehow measure this without even.
No, Jesse said you can measure this. Hold on. I say it's a straight line. I'll just prove a straight line.
I know, that's fine. You're going to just say it's a straight line. I'm saying to measure this, though, you would need to have those lines defined to be able to take something and measure that distance between them.
Define a straight line.
Anyhow, so this is what the test that a few people in here, including myself, are planning on doing, is defining a straight line and using that straight line to measure, say, the sagitta in a hump like that for like a Bedford level. To do the exact same thing as a Bedford level, except for instead of doing it by sight.
This is different. We're not doing a Bedford level.
I thought no one said your test.
Optics.
Said people in here. So people in here is what I said. Is we would be doing a defined straight line and then measuring a
defined straight line. Go on.
Yes.
Start off with that.
Yeah, using accurate positioning.
No, define a straight line, please.
A defined straight line.
Yeah,
not
the
defined.
Word straight. Go on then.
A straight line that's defined.
Yeah, go on.
It's straight without needing to make any assumptions.
Straight without needing to make any assumptions.
That you're confirmed that this is a straight line. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Well, so what is a straight line to you, Kosho? Because yesterday we had all sorts of silly things. It was a circle yesterday. Do you think a circle can be a straight line?
Fantastic, man. I don't know why you're obfuscating when you just were complaining about it, right?
No, you're talking about defining a straight line, and then you seem unable to. Whereas yesterday,
you don't even
yesterday, Kosho, they defined a straight line as a circle.
That's fantastic. No one's talking about the word. When I say define a straight line, I'm talking about producing a straight line.
Yeah.
Confirming that the line that is made is straight. That's what I'm saying to you.
But what do you mean by straight? Do you mean straight or do you mean curved, like a circle? What is your definition? How do you define straight?
I'm going to continue with this, Bev. Okay? Because you're obfuscating that.
It's hard work. When grown men struggle with straight lines.
It's not hard work. It's aggravating, though, when you do that. When there's no need to do that.
Just define it.
So, as I was just saying, we'll have a confirmed straight line, and this will be used to say measure the sagitta. Let's say the straight line.
Can you say? Okay. So
let's say the straight line
is the sagitta a straight line?
Let's say this straight line was both ends of a canal, a 6-mile canal, on the surface of the water. You would then measure the center of the canal, and the distance from that straight line.
What straight line? Where's the straight line?
What do you mean? Where is it?
The straight line that you're talking about, that you measure something from, where is that?
Well, you would be using a positioning device like a GPS accurate, centimeter accurate positioning device.
A centimeter accurate? If it's only centimeter accurate, you can't measure a millimeter, can you?
Yeah, but you wouldn't be trying to only measure a millimeter.
That's not very accurate, Kosho. Centimeter accurate is rubbish. Ask Tao.
You wouldn't be only trying to measure a millimeter. As I said, 6 miles. You could do 10 miles. You could do 50 miles. You wouldn't do 200 meters. You would use it to make the straight line that was.
Tao says he can measure that at really, really, really accurate numbers.
Yeah, he's got calipers that he can do that with.
Well, so you've said you go to the center and measure it at the center. So he can go to the center and measure it, surely.
Right, so I can use Tao's calipers.
So where's the straight line that he's using?
He wasn't using one. That was my point.
You were defining a straight line to measure from.
Bev, stop doing that. If I'm responding to what you're saying, you don't have to continue to go on.
But you're not responding.
As I told you when you asked Becky what she would use.
Talking over him, you fucking twat.
Yeah, you said she would use
a couple of 100 fucking plastic clear pipes.
Yeah, you said she would use.
It's a lot easier.
You said she would use a ruler, and Tao said he would use a caliper. Mm-hmm. And I'm fairly certain anyone can use a tool to measure a distance that they can see, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're talking about a sagitta, which is going to be the difference from the chord to the arc, which are not defined by anything, you have nothing to measure with a ruler or a caliper from 100 meters away. Okay? That's the limitation. That's why if you define a straight line, you can actually make a measurement of the surface of the water, which is clear to see, and you'll have this defined line.
Okay. Now, please, before we continue, I know you can't define it with words. What method would you use to define a straight line?
Bisect the angle. Pull the cord.
And for a second.
Stick a line through them both. There you go.
Cut out. I didn't hear your question.
What method, because you can't use words, obviously, what method would you use to define the straight line, please?
A GPS that's accurate within a centimeter. It's accurate within a centimeter precision. You would take a point at one end of the 6 miles and another point at the other end of the 6 miles, and you use that points to make an infinitely long straight line.
Well, how would you define that at the center? You've just got 2 points.
Careful, because he's got another trick question there, because what he's saying is where would you put a straight line? Yeah, you can make a straight line.
I'm asking him to define a straight line.
Where would you put it? Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
What would the straight line be on?
Thank you, Tao. I've just told you, Bev.
I want to hear the definition.
That's great. Look it up. I just told you that at one end of the canal, 6 miles, the other end of the canal, 6 miles, there's 2 points, right? These are 2 positions that are going to be defined in an XYZ space, the same way GPS always defines it before they convert it to longitude and latitude. You can use these 2 positions, XYZ coordinates.
They use, wait. They use XYZ and convert that into a 2-dimensional coordinate system.
Can you shut the fuck up until someone's finished talking?
Told you this at least 100 times, Bev. So stop acting like it's news to you. Please, for the love of God. I've had this conversation with you 100 times, man, about how longitude and latitude converts XYZ to spherical coordinates, which is also 3 dimensions. It's not just 2. Longitude and latitude plus the radial distance, which will give you the elevation.
If anybody else can translate what Kosho's saying, I mean, he's not actually saying anything when he's saying that. He doesn't even know what he's saying himself.
Neither are you.
Not really saying
You
anything
just
at all.
babble, Bev. You're a fucking lunatic.
I was just trying to get Kosho to define a straight line. We've got 2 points so far.
C line and fucking
you're doing
a
too.
chemo.
What's wrong with that?
Pulling a chemo.
You don't know how a straight line references just 2 points?
I know.
You
You said you couldn't define it with words before.
No, I said that's not what I mean when I use the word defined.
Okay.
You said, go and define it. I wasn't talking about defining it in words. I was talking about defining a straight line and being able to
in
use
reality,
reference.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you said you just go to each end with a GPS system.
To
just do
describe
2 points.
So don't ask me to define words that all of us know the definition to.
So how would you define the straight line that pertains to those 2 end bits in the center for you to be able to measure the sagittar? How would you define that? That's the particular point that I'm talking about. The straight line involving the bit in the middle.
I would take those 2 points and make a line that goes through both of them. Only both of them.
The shortest distance between those 2 points, the 2 extreme points, the shortest path, even distance, without deviation, in a straight line from one point to the other.
Only straight line that went through both of them. Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's not hard to do.
Yeah. I like it.
One of the easiest things you can possibly do. And it's almost like it doesn't have to be explained to you.
It is Euclidean geometry, the basics. I mean, I think we get into definition 5 to get that one. So, I mean, I'm surprised it took you so long. You said you were after defining it, and then you ended up defining it.
I'm doing, and you're asking what a straight line is.
Okay. So, how would you position that straight line for somewhere for you to measure? How would you do that?
I would use the positioning tool that I just described to position the 2 points. Then I'd have to use some sort of 3D program to visualize a XYZ 3-dimensional grid. I would then define that straight line and all the points on it, not just the 2 points at the end, but every point on it. And I would find the point in the center that was directly beneath that straight line. And by doing that, not directly beneath it, I'm sorry, directly above it, the surface of the water that was directly above it, because it would be the chord in the water.
Okay.
You would then take a line that was perpendicular, or a plane, that was perpendicular to that line in only one axis. Okay? I'd have to be perpendicular to the downward vector. So
one like vertical and horizontal, right?
Yeah, the simple way that I was first brainstorming to do that would be just to use the same meridian. So make that straight line along one meridian, and that way you could just take the middle point distance between those 2 points.
No, you're making the straight line between 2 points.
Yeah, 2 points, but make those 2 points along the same meridian, so that when you're trying to find any of the other points along the straight line, you would just use the meridian to reference them.
But you wouldn't use the straight line that you've just made between the other 2 points to reference them.
Say what?
Well, you're making a straight line. Why are you trying to reference the straight line or now all of your other points to a meridian? Why not reference them to the straight line that you're talking about?
Because if you want to look along the surface of the earth, like the surface of the water, I mean.
No, we're after measuring something, aren't we?
No, we've already defined the straight line. So now that you have a straight line defined, if you wanted to measure the sagittar of that straight line, you would need to find the surface of the water that was along that same line, whether it was above or below it. So you need to find a point on that meridian. You would just use the point that was halfway between them.
You would define a point now.
Oh, no, you wouldn't define a point. You'd have to find a point.
Okay.
That was along that straight
you've
line.
You've already found the center point, haven't you?
No, not yet.
Oh. That should be easy. That should just be a measure distance, half of the total length.
Yeah, half of the length, but now you have to find the position of that point, which is why you would do it along the same meridian. Make sure it was along that same straight line. And then you would find that point and measure its distance from the straight line at that same.
So when you get to that point and you can hold a ruler and measure, right?
Well, you wouldn't need to use a ruler.
Like Becky says, with a little ruler. Or maybe, I mean, if you're good enough, you've got Tao and he's ultra high precision. You could just put him there and he could measure it even more accurately, couldn't he?
You wouldn't need any of that. Once you have the positions of the straight line and you have the position of this point on the surface, you can compare them in any,
any difference.
program.
Yeah, any difference would be hump.
That's right. It would be the sagittary right there.
Yeah.
And that would be one way to measure Bedford level style test.
Well done. You just worked through that. We did that really, really well. And we've now sorted out that we're going with the Bislin hump method. And like Jesse says, it's measurable because, I mean, this is geometry. So, yeah, it's definitely measurable. And Becky, I'll show you the method later on. Jeremy, anyone that wants to come over and have a look at it. Yeah. Let's see how well you guys can do. Put your minds together and use Kosho's method that Kosho's just explained there. Genius.
Yeah, that's only one test too.
There's only one of them.
There'd be plenty of tests you can do.
You could do more, couldn't you, at the same time?
Well, you can do drop from horizontal. Create a horizontal
drop from
line.
horizontal. You could check for drop from horizontal, but that'd be fucking ridiculous, wouldn't it? Water's
that would be perfectly feasible.
Would be called a river.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about.
Not a water level. A water level has an even altitude with no drop.
We're not talking about water levels or rivers. I'm talking about the Earth. You can take a horizontal.
Talking about straight lines.
You can create a horizontal straight line,
and
then go on both ends. You can go from one side of that position where you made that straight line, and go infinitely far. You can go to 100 different points.
When you say horizontal straight line, you do mean horizontal, not bendy-zontal, right?
I really don't want to respond to that, Bev.
Do you not?
I really don't. I feel like I said enough words for you to understand what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why you would ask me if I say a horizontal straight line. You would ask me if it's bendy.
Well, yeah, they had horizontal circles going around some sort of a model yesterday. I was hearing quite often. I was just checking it wasn't one of those horizontals.
Anyhow, what you would do is you'd keep going, let's say 10 distances, let's say 5 miles apart each.
10 distances?
Yeah, let's say measure the surface of the Earth.
So we're putting, 5 miles as a unit?
As each one of those distances.
Yeah, we're calling a distance 5 miles.
Jesus. Measure the distance from the surface of the Earth at those distances to the horizontal line you made at the beginning. And you would, at the end of your measurements, compare all those distances, and you would have measured the drop of the Earth from horizontal.
But see, that would make the water drop from horizontal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, anything. The Earth, whatever's on the Earth, yeah.
How do you establish a horizontal again? Oh, you do GPS, sorry. Was that straight line that you made earlier with your GPS, 2 points? Were they horizontal marks? Or was it just a straight line you were doing?
These were horizontal, yeah.
Okay. So the hump is in the middle of horizontal. Call a chord a horizontal, would you?
Sure. It would actually only be horizontal at that midpoint.
But a horizontal is a line, Kosho.
That's right.
Yeah. But you're saying that a horizontal line is only horizontal at the midpoint.
That's right. On a curved surface.
What would you call a horizontal line at the end?
I wouldn't call it a horizontal line.
Oh. So when they say at school a vertical line goes up and down the page and a horizontal line goes across the page, they meant to say a vertical line, just at the point in the middle where they intersect, just that one point, that point of which there has no parts.
No,
that nothing in the middle. And the horizontal is also only horizontal where it isn't. Yeah.
It's about drawing lines on a piece of rectangular paper.
Yeah, you got infinite lines in between the borders, buddy, up and down, both sides.
Talking
Anyway,
about a horizontal.
two questions. One, why are you pretending like neither you nor Kosho, like I'm saying, why don't you grant you and Kosho the benefit of the doubt that y'all know simple geometry?
I can't
draw 90 degrees. And then two, what does it matter though? Like, whatever the word you want to use, like, what's up though?
Because that's geometry, right? They're defined words. Straight and perpendicular are very defined words because they establish vertical and horizontal, two right lines intersecting to make 4 right angles. All of those right angles are equal to one another. It's the basic fundamentals of all known geometry and mathematics, to be fair.
Okay. So if this was like just a little random thing, I wouldn't butt into y'all's conversation. But you must know that, you know, the horizontal flat straight line thing, like that's kind of a thing you're known for. That's your stick. You know what I'm saying? So,
No, it's reality, right? It's not just mine.
Fine, but I'm saying, dude, you press the thing you're pressing on Kosho. I've witnessed you press it a lot. It's cool. You can recognize that. That's work you're doing. That's cool.
We've just worked through a method to be able to measure it this morning. I mean, you heard it, right? Okay. Kosho came up with a method.
I gotta take the priority from you. If I need to take a priority message from this stick that you be doing, what is the foundation of your message? What if I hold on? As far as if I need to wake up and see the truth, what message about this horizontal thing does the sleeping person not understand?
Most people understand. Most people know that level's horizontal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why do you don't think Kosho, like, what's going on? What's this?
Some people, right? Some people, once reminded of a model, go against all things that they know. And the more the model has got infected, or affected, right? Affected. People have become affected by a model to the point where they don't know what a straight line is anymore.
Okay. So it highlights that confusion delusion.
Yeah. Cognitive dissonance, right? Because it causes some people pain. Some people just want to avoid it. Some people don't want to talk about it. Some people will act aggressively and attack the person that's telling them the information. I mean...
Okay. So you're just highlighting it here, like, because you don't think Kosho's fallen victim to this, do you?
So, no, I came here as a social study. Jem wouldn't let me say this yesterday, right? To work out what's going on with people. Because my lad, he speaks the truth. He'll just tell a fat lady she's fat. Wow, look at him. She's fat. Or he did. Now, that woman got offended and looked at me as if he shouldn't have said that. But she was fat. He wasn't wrong. But that sort of spreads. It's everywhere in society nowadays. People say things, other people get offended at it. I found a place... I was just talking about reality and what I was doing with my son. And I found someone who got really upset at the horizon not rising to eye level. Because I said it can't because they're different levels.
You've talked to Zanuck about that? Real quick, I can give you a great analogy about the calling someone fat. If you walked in, do you guys call them convenience stores or gas stations, corner stores, the dairy, whatever the fuck?
Yep.
So if you walked to the dairy and you walked in the front door and you had a brick with you and you just held say it was the cold ass winter and whatever, it really doesn't matter, and you could argue the point, but say you walked in the front door and you just propped the door open and put the brick down and held the door open in the public.
Press Dawn. What's this I hear about you being converted to the globe?
Yeah, I'm on the globe, but real quick. So say you just walked in the public store and put a brick to hold the door open so you could walk out without having to open the door with your hands because you're just going to have full hands. And people got mad at you and they're like, shut my freaking door. Like, don't leave the door open or whatever. You can't play dumb. Like, you know they don't want you holding their fucking... Like, think about that type of scenario.
Yeah, that's
like,
rude.
know,
That's rude.
Right. It's just rude as rude. Like...
Yeah.
You know?
So, Don, what was it that convinced you, man? That the Earth's not fucking
I've
flat?
been waiting for the flat Earth evidence. Maybe Bev will be the hero. Who knows?
Yeah.
I've only got proof that level is horizontal. Make of it what you will.
Fuck up. We are level is horizontal.
Or even
fucking
straight lines
shit.
are straight.
Level is horizontal. Look, man, I'm going to say this, and that's the only thing I'm going to say. I'm not going to get into an argument with you because you're tedious as fuck, Bev. You're here to frustrate. You're here to see line. That's all you're here for. Fucking levels horizontal over small distances, and that's that. Right? Fucking Earth's a big fucking place. So don't give your pish, alright?
How small? Go on, give us a distance.
I'm not getting into it, prick.
We can check
You're
it.
tedious as fuck.
We can
Bev, what was
test
that
it.
bullshit that you posted? Was this like surveyors saying that small segments of Earth was flat or something?
What's that?
Gravitationally or something? Or
The bit with in the debate chat box now, that one.
there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 little slots in a box.
Yeah.
38, 39 miles, or I don't know what it was saying.
No, they were individual 100-meter water levels placed end to end, 1,600 meters. 1,609 meters is a mile. So that's like a mile's worth of 100-meter water levels placed end to end. Those are the numbers that we've been given by whatever, Ruhif, Brad. We've been given numbers by a load of people. Calculations of the drop. So that's measurable. That's when Jesse Kozlowski said, oh yeah, it's measurable. Those are the numbers that are measurable. And Kosho's just give us a method this morning that you guys can do it. So, I mean, game on. Let's go.
Hey, Don, can I show you something very quickly?
Face of in the stream or separate room? Or
Wait, say it once more?
Right here in this room?
Yeah, in the room. Yeah, in the debate chat box, yeah. Do you see this picture I posted just a second ago?
Kosho.
Can you see it?
Can you hear me?
Don? Breaking up.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, right. Okay, good. That's the one. So I'm going to tell you, in contrast to what this other gentleman had just said about level and horizontal. You see those red lines?
Absolutely.
That's right. So you see number 6, those blue lines sticking straight up from that circle, those would be water levels. That would be one water level with 6 or 7 different fucking verticals, right? On number 6.
The one.
Yeah, go ahead. Just go ahead now.
The one sticking up?
There's 7. Yeah, there's 7 of them sticking up. You see them?
Okay, but how is it a water level sticking up?
No, the water level is going to be like a hose.
Oh, okay.
From 2 ends, right? So this would be like a hose with 7 verticals in it in 7 different positions.
Can I get this on screen?
All the same source of water.
Can we scale it down and pretend they're the 100 meters?
Real quick. Hang with us though, because I see this as like a water weight balance, showing you exactly how much weight of water is tall on each section, like 6 sticking straight up. That's going to have the same volume tall of water.
You can call it that. You can call it whatever you like, but you understand the principle because you're describing it the same way.
A volume tall. I don't think I've ever heard that.
That's sufficient. You understand it, so that's fine. You see number 6? Number 6 has a red line that's going across it. You see that? Just to confirm you see it, Don.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that would be a horizontal at that position only.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
that angle.
And then at number 4, there's a horizontal from that position only. Those are horizontals. They're not horizontal everywhere, but they're horizontals from those positions only. And now if you look at 2 to 6, from number 2 to number 6, there is another blue line, which is a line from those 2 water levels. The 3 water levels in between them are taller than that line. And that line is also only horizontal at number 4. It's not horizontal at either of those ends. So you see that water levels and horizontals are not synonymous. They don't equal the same thing. So yeah.
Right. Unless he's calling, I mean, if he wants to try and call the baseline blue line level, then sure, they'd be wrong.
But as you just stated, horizontal is
In the
not
same
horizontal.
way, right. In the same way as the other one. They can, like you say, right at 4, it is. But
nowhere else.
Can I just check if you've been okayed by the surveyor, the council, to be able to do this? Or will somebody come back later and sort of take it back?
Are you planning to do your thing, Bev?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll show Becky later.
When are you planning to do it, mate?
Pardon?
100 metres apart.
Pardon? I can't hear you. You're cutting out.
Could be because you haven't finished talking.
You're going to have your water levels 100 metres apart for 1,600 metres, is that right?
No, that's
something like that.
That's Sly Sparkane's bending water level experiment, and the numbers that have been given to us by Ruhif are all the numbers that Sly Sparkane will be measuring when he does his test. Mine's a bit different.
Right. So what's yours?
Oh, I see. You have to come over. I'll present it. I'm not presenting it here. Like I've said, you can't present anything here like that.
Come over where?
Over to Nips later, if you want. Becky, depends when Becky's ready or anything. Yeah, you can come over if you want.
Will you be recording it and uploading it to your channel?
Probably.
For future reference?
Probably. Maybe not. Right. Don't know. Why?
Well, it'll be good to have for future reference.
Yeah. It's like an interactive presentation. You'd be all right with that, would you? Who is this?
Yeah, sure.
You want to book a slot? Who is this?
Oh,
was.
I don't know if I'll be booking a slot.
You don't. Okay.
I might watch you upload if I can't get there. How many hours away is it?
What?
What? What are you asking? What? How many hours away is it?
I don't know. How many hours away is what?
Oh, for fuck's sake, your
Jesus
presentation.
Christ.
Well, come on, man. Don't be tedious.
Are you coming for the presentation?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
How many hours away is it?
I don't know. Becky, when do you think you might be able to come and watch
It's a great advertisement for your presentation.
Probably not tonight, guys. I'm getting ready for bed now.
Yeah, that's no problem. I've got to do a bit of housework today, you know. You know how it is.
Well, we're in Australia, mate, and it's currently 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was asking how many hours away it is, so I can see if I'll be up. Because I've got to work tomorrow, you see.
Yeah, it's okay. So you won't be able.
So
you would need to book a time as well. I've asked Professor Phil also to do a proof for proof challenge sort of thing. So it's going to be hard work for him as well because he's in Australia. So I mean, I'm going to have to be sorting something out with the schedule to help you guys. Whether I get up early or stay up late, one or the other.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, but it's difficult to book a slot when we don't know what time you're planning to do it.
Well, like I say, I'm open to any sort of time, but like, don't expect me to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow.
Oh, I wouldn't expect that, mate. No, so I'm not asking you to do that at all.
Well, if we can book a time that might be suitable.
Do it now. How about doing it now?
No, because Becky said she's not going to come and do it tonight.
Well, why don't you just record it?
It's all right. No, it's an interactive presentation, right? It's a little bit more involved, right? Because you have to agree.
How long does it go for, Bev? How long
Like,
will this go for?
I
That's
would.
a good question.
If I was to go and do it with you, Becky, it probably wouldn't take too long.
How long would it take?
Sea lining, motherfucker.
Who? Sea lining?
If nobody asks
Roughly.
any,
I mean, I don't need just an estimate.
if nobody asked any questions and you were able to just tell it as you plan to. Excuse me. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But say no one interacted and you just presented it, how long would it take?
It'd probably take quite a while because at some point I go, do you get that? Do you understand that? And if you don't answer, then it'll probably go like, well, there's not much point in carrying on here,
if people
right?
just say yes, we understand, and there's no need for detailed explanations or going into it too far. How long do you estimate it would take?
I don't know. 45 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours,
All right.
3 hours.
Okay. No, okay.
Don't know. We had a conversation the other day with 50 and Gently for about 2 hours, and that we couldn't really get past the straight line. So with them, obviously, it depends how much the models affected you and how much.
That's a good thing, right?
What, that you can argue for 2 hours about a straight line?
Well, I mean, you got to nut it out, right? That's probably not.
Well, I mean,
so
like,
bad.
yeah, I
Maybe 2
know,
hours.
but I mean,
maybe 2
it
hours
does
is
sound
a bit long.
Ridiculous that a grown man can argue about what a straight line is.
Pretty much what you've been doing for the
That
last
is
2
indeed
hours.
ironic.
Irony is the word that comes to mind.
Does it?
It does.
Okay.
I already know about a straight line.
I
so
know, that's
can
why I
get
think it'd
past
be
that
quite
part.
easy for you to get it, Becky. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll agree with everything you say, mate, just to get through it and see what you want to do.
Yeah, but that's exactly the problem, right?
Dude, I'm hearing that the whole time. I'm like, you can say yes, right? And then he goes, but at some point, I gotta ask you, dude,
you can think whatever you want. It's just
But,
a proof. I mean, you can.
I'm not asking.
You can go against it. Get your own proof.
So
do whatever you want with it. Yeah, find your own proof and come back and challenge me with it.
Okay. So your plan is to do a presentation, and after this presentation,
no, it's not a presentation like that. It's like
a presentation,
a chat with pictures. I can get on the thing. I can demonstrate stuff.
I'm pretty sure
that's what a presentation is, mate. So you're doing an interactive presentations with pictures and people talking, and you asking questions and people asking you questions, and you asking if people can understand what you're questioning and they can question what you're understanding. So you're doing something like that, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end of it, are you physically going to do anything?
Me?
Or is this just going to be?
Am I going to do anything?
No.
I'll do what I do,
no,
mate.
I'm asking me.
I'll do what I do.
Neil Armstrong, mate. Yeah. So will you physically be doing what you're presenting
on the video?
Yeah. Well, so what you're going to present on the video is a way to measure
is the the practical method and the proof of it. Yes.
Right. So will you be physically doing that in the future?
Yeah, of course I will.
When?
Well, okay. Again, see, like, look, this is personal. If you come and see the presentation, you will find out for yourself what you can do. Not me, you.
I've done all I need to do to know what I need to know.
Bring all of the stuff that you know, right? Hey? Bring that along with you and match it against what I'm going to explain to you. That'd be brilliant.
No, it's pointless. No, it's pointless me bringing what convinced me. It's pointless bringing along what convinced me of what I believe, right? I'm just trying to get an idea.
Why are you asking me to present my proof? Wait, what's the big video of that?
Telling me. I'm not asking you. You're telling me,
dude. I'm saying for anyone that wants to come.
Go ahead. Sorry for talking over you. I won't talk over you anymore.
You said...
Please go ahead. I'm sorry I talked over you.
You said...
I just need to apologise for talking over you. Go ahead.
You said
Sorry.
I'm going to do a presentation. I've invited anyone round for it. You said, are you going to record it? I went, I might. You said, are you going to put it on video? I went, yeah, I might.
He's not getting it, is
Will
he?
you upload it? I might.
It does.
And then you said, oh, I'll watch the video. It's not about the video. It's about the presentation. It's about you coming and experiencing it.
Yes.
You can't watch it on a video.
All right. All right. So say I come along, which we don't know when it is. We don't know how long it's going to go for, and we don't know how much the tickets are. But say I come along, and we've seen it all, and we're all happy at the end of it.
Brilliant.
Will you be physically doing what you've presented?
What?
Yeah.
Will there be tea and coffee
Yeah.
at the end?
Yeah, I might even have
you're
a cup of tea. Yes.
Bev,
Will you be taking a water level out on Earth and
I
measuring
already have
curvature?
taken a
Will we be
water
going out
level
in the boat?
out on Earth. Yes. Like, I don't talk this shit because I'm just making it up. I don't make calculations on
Definitely
perceived
talking
models.
shit, that's for sure.
I do
what
this
shit are you
stuff.
talking then?
In reality, I wouldn't be able to say it if I wasn't absolutely sure of what I'm saying.
Oh, fuck me, is this cunt back?
So how many water
Unfortunately.
levels did you take out on the
We've,
Earth? And how long were the water?
We've got
water
we've got a new method this morning. Kosho sorted a new method out for
You've
us.
got
for you
fucking
guys to
brain
do.
fucking disease. That's what
No,
you've got.
I'm curious as to what you've actually done.
Why?
I'm not aware of it.
Oh well, I've got an auto level, and I've got a water level.
Right.
So I've been out and done surveying. I've taught my sons. We've been out on the canal. We've took some pictures.
Yep.
We've done some surveying. We've checked some levels. We've checked that a water level's level. You know, that sort of
Right.
stuff.
So fucking tedious.
I know. So the water level, how long was the water level?
100 meters.
Okay. And it was just the one at 100 meters.
Yeah, like the
And
individual ones of Sly Sparken's bending water level experiment. In that thing
get
with all them
distracted with
numbers.
Sly. Don't
Why
get
did you
distracted
do
with
that?
other people.
No, that's where the numbers have come from.
You're obsessed with
numbers.
him, aren't you?
Your
wanna fuck
guys
Sly
have
or
done the
something?
calculations
Is this-
for us for
obsessed
the
with
numbers
the
that we
dude.
can measure.
Is this where your numbers have come from, Sly?
That's a handsome. No, Ruhif, whatever, and Brad, the science guy, gave us the numbers, and other people.
So you
as well.
got your numbers from them.
Yeah, they calculated them for us.
Right.
They're the measured numbers that Sly Sparkane will be measuring with his bending water level experiment.
And did they agree? Did your numbers agree?
What do you mean, my numbers?
Well, you said you took a 100-meter water level out.
Yeah, horizontal, mate.
Yeah. And did that agree with the numbers you were given?
There was zero drop in a horizontal. It's horizontal.
Over 100 meters.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else want to talk to him?
No, carry on,
I'm
Waz.
done.
Fucking
I'm
Please, no, all
No,
yours,
he's
mate.
answered. He's answered. He's shown
Oh, well, in
me
that case, he
what
can
I
go
need
away
to
and do his
see.
presentation.
And
then.
the more, well, put
Does
it this
anybody
way.
else want to get bored to fuck by this cunt? Anyone?
No, put it this way. The more he
I'll take
explains
it as
to
a
me,
no, so you can fuck off now.
put it this way. The more he explains his methods and methodology and what he's done to me, the more convinced that I am that it's not flat.
Brilliant.
Thanks,
Horizontal.
Bev. Good on you, mate.
Well done.
Your pleasure.
Well, thanks for your input, guys. You've been a great help,
so-
especially Kosho.
So,
You gotta say you're blowing my mind right now.
You twat. How do we know the Earth is not flat?
We don't. It's flat.
That was that.
of the world in which you live, then of course the world looks flat. The world looks flat. The world looks flat.
Neil.
Bitch.
You twat. I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
That's what I do. 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 What I do.
But I don't have much patience for anyone who denies that this challenge is real. We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. Flat Earth Society.
My friends, these people are so out of touch with science. You don't need to be a scientist to know that the Earth is round.
They must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society. They would not have believed that the world was round.
Like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash.